Hello friends, how you doing? Day 454. Hope you're doing well on this Monday. And I just want to come in and just share with you my weekly reflection for the Artist's Way. So I just finished week 7 with my friend Charmaine, and it's been interesting. It's a 12-week experience, if you will. And again, for those who don't know what it is, The Artist's Way, it's a book to help creatives get unblocked. It can be for creatives, or it can be for anybody really who wants to get their creative juices going again. And it's been quite the journey so far. Done 7 weeks, on the 8th week right now, and for the first time, I missed my artist date this past week. I was a little about that, but you know what? It's okay. I forgive myself and just say, you know what, I'm not perfect. Sometimes we're gonna miss something, and it's okay. And like I was planning to do something Saturday, but then I was moving my tables for Casino Royale, and it took a lot longer than I anticipated. So I thought I'd be done around 1, and I have a couple hours to do my artist date, but I ended up finishing at 4. Had to go home, get ready for my friend's wedding on Zoom, and then had met up with a friend afterwards. So I didn't have time, and then in the morning I was thinking, well, I couldn't sleep. I got up at 4 a.m. So I was thinking, ooh, maybe I can go watch the sunrise. I looked outside, overcast, clouds everywhere, and they're gray. And so I'm like, okay, I can't see the sunrise. So I just kind of gave up, if you will, because my check-in with Charmaine was at 9:30 in the morning. So I was like, ugh. But that's okay. We got to check in with each other and see how our experience was. And yeah, same thing with her. She had some challenges finishing everything for herself. She did the artist date, but some of the other weekly tasks were a bit more of a struggle. And it's interesting how we both kind of struggled this past week to finish everything. It was like I said, like I love reading the book. Actually, it's a really, really, really great read on just, again, a lot of stuff is just personal growth stuff, but from an artist's point of view. And so last week was more about talked about jealousy, and I shared what the jealousy map was. Talked about perfectionism. If you didn't have to do it perfectly, what would you be trying? Because a lot of times I think we kind of stop ourselves from being successful. And I started reading week 8, and there's a lot of great stuff on there as well. And it talks about how we need to fill the form, meaning whatever it is that we want to create, we have to get going. We have to start working. And if we start thinking too far out, for example, I want to write a screenplay. And if I get a publisher, if a director picks it up, then I'll have to move to LA or New York or whatever. And then, should I be leaving because all my friends and family are here? And then, like, a lot of times we kind of play these scenarios in our head, and then we don't even get started. And so this chapter talks about filling the form, meaning just take a small step, right? And I think I shared this yesterday, the 2-minute rule, right? Just start. And she also talks about how people who are working are the ones who get work. And so even if you're not getting paid for certain work, do something anyways. And obviously everyone wants to be paid for the work, but even if you don't, be busy in some type of work and then move forward, right? Because again, if you're constantly doing something, opportunities always arise. Okay? But what I find is quite the opposite with so many people talk to. And I'm not calling anybody out, but man, so many people think, I worked 40 hours. That's a pretty hard week. I deserve to do nothing on my time off. And sure, that's fine. It's all good. If you're happy with your life, then awesome. You don't need to change anything. But if not where you want to be, then maybe look yourself in the mirror and kind of ask yourself, why am I where I'm at and not where I want to be? Okay, a lot of times we're very blind to where we are. It's very easy to see other people's blind spots. It's very hard to see our own. And so that's another. That's that's a reason why I always encourage people to find a mentor, find a coach, find people that further ahead of you in your journey and are willing and happy to actually help you move forward. And so I'm just seeing here. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. So at the end of the day, oh yeah. So she talked about, instead of saying what's the use, ask what's next. So after a failure, right? Let's say you submitted something and it was a no. Maybe you went for an audition and you were declined. Maybe you submitted a novel, your first draft, and the publisher's like, some parts good, some parts not bad, but it's not good enough, right? So obviously a failure, not the result we want, but again, it's more important that you focus on the process instead of the outcome. Okay. And in the past, I've taught this all the time. Be more growth focused instead of goal focused, because it's just, it'll serve you so much more. Okay, and in the creative sense, she talks about how sometimes people procrastinate. They might, maybe they're supposed to paint something and then they go do laundry. I'll think about my painting while I do my laundry, and somehow they end up the whole day doing laundry and not even starting the painting. And she talks about how important it is for you to just get into the process, just leap, get into the work, no matter what that work is. And then, because it's not about perfection, it's not about having a final draft of your work. It's just to get in the flow, allow, if you will, the art to come out in whatever form that is. And I think that's such a key thing to really understand, because I know for myself, so many times in the past, it'd be nice to do this, nice to do that, and I play all these freaking scenarios in my head, and I don't do jack all to actually move anything forward. Whereas when I've started to just embrace, let's just get going. It doesn't have to be perfect. I have no idea, because I have no idea how anything's gonna turn out. I have no idea how my life is gonna turn out. I've had plans for how I think my life is gonna turn out, what I want, but it never went that way. Oh my gosh. I don't know about you. Is your life exactly the way that you thought it would be? I think for most people that's a no. And but you know what? I've learned that, life is always going to throw a bunch of curveballs. The best thing I can do is just stay learning, keep going, keep working, and just embrace life and all its twists and turns that it's going to give me. I'm going to be kicked down or kicked while I'm down a number of times, but I gotta keep going. And there was a certain question, let's see here. What was it? And there was a good one. Hold on. Yeah, she talks about how creative people are very dramatic, and they use the negative drama to actually scare themselves from actually doing anything. They're afraid of success, really, in a way, right? And they allow their fear to actually stop them from actually doing anything, right? If we're true to ourselves, right? There's always something you can do to move yourself forward. And talks about how people use age as a reason. Oh, I'm too old to start playing piano. I'm 40 something. Well, so many people have created amazing successes or works of art, in their older years. Actors, painters, chefs, it doesn't really matter. And sometimes she talks about how people who start later, actually, the learning curve is a lot steeper, meaning they learn a lot quicker. Why? Because they've experienced some life. They understand a lot more than maybe a young, inexperienced person does about life and certain things. I know for myself right now, anytime I learn something, oh my gosh, I'm able to learn so much quicker than I did in the past. Why? Because I just understand a lot more about life and how things work and myself, first and foremost. And so I think that's important, my friends. But it's important that you just start and you stay started. There was such a good quote. Oh my gosh, where was it? Let's see here. Okay, you know what? I don't know. And it's bugging me. Oh. Arrgh. Oh, okay, here you go. Okay. Sometimes when we have failures, we ask, why me? Instead, she writes, instead of asking why me, ask what next. And again, that focuses on the process, right? So if you always, okay, that's a failure, okay, what next? And it's an opportunity to hone your skill, hone your craft, to become better, to learn something more, to eventually create the success that you want. Okay? And so I think if you have that mindset, it's going to help you very much. And so that's the same thing. You know, last week it was a fail. Didn't do my hardest thing. Only did half the weekly tasks. So what did I learn from it? Okay, I got to start earlier this week, right? And put it into my calendar. Last week I didn't put an artist date into my calendar, which I did the previous week. So again, I learned from it, and I can just grow from it. Okay. So, anyways, friends, that's kind of all I want to share today. Just a reflection on where I'm at on week 7, starting week 8 yesterday, and that just means I only have 5 weeks left. It's a 12-week program, exercise, a journey, if you will, and almost done. Every day, I'm still doing my morning pages, 3 pages of just mind dumping, if you will, to clear the head, to clear the aura, spirit, if you will. And yeah, we'll see how next week goes. All right, have a great day, my friends. Goodbye.